Episode 61, Pranking for Laughs.
Prank calls. Oh, prank calls. They're like a timeless classic, right up there with whoopee cushions and fake dog poop. And honestly, who doesn't love a good prank call? Well, besides the person on the other end of the line, I mean. Personally, I've always found prank calls to be hilarious. Maybe it's because I have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old boy, but there's just something about tricking someone into thinking you're the IRS and they owe you $1 million that really gets me going. But let's be real, prank calls have come a long way since the days of crank calling your crush and hanging up as soon as they answered. Nowadays, people are taking it to a whole new level. I mean, have you heard about this new trend where people call up fast food restaurants pretending to be the CEO and convince the employees to do ridiculous things like smash all the windows or fill the deep fryer with whipped cream? It's absolute madness, and I can't get enough of it. Of course, there's always the risk that your prank call could backfire. Maybe the person you're calling isn't as gullible as you thought, or maybe they're just having a really bad day and the last thing they need is some jerk pretending to be a telemarketer. And let's not forget about the potential legal repercussions of impersonating someone else over the phone. But hey, as long as you don't get caught, it's all in good fun, right? In conclusion, I think prank calls are a valuable and essential part of our society. They bring people together, they make us laugh, and they remind us not to take life too seriously. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the star of the next viral prank call video. Just be prepared to change your phone number afterwards. Oh, prank calls. The timeless classic of adolescent humor. Nothing says I'm bored and have too much free time like crank calling a stranger and pretending to be somebody else. But let's be honest, we've all done it, and if you say you haven't, you're either lying or you had a much more productive childhood than I did. I remember making prank calls with my friends when I was a kid. We would call up the local pizza place and ask if they delivered to the moon, or we would pretend to be telemarketers selling imaginary products. We thought we were hilarious. But looking back, I realized that we were probably just annoying the poor people on the other end of the line who were just trying to do their job. But it's not just kids who make prank calls. Adults do it too, and sometimes with disastrous consequences. I read a story recently about a man who prank called the police pretending to be someone else reporting a murder. Well, the police took it seriously and sent out a SWAT team to the reported location, only to find out it was all a hoax. Needless to say, the prankster ended up getting arrested for wasting police resources. And let's not forget about those infamous celebrity prank calls. Remember when two Australian DJs called the hospital where Kate Middleton was being treated for morning sickness, pretending to be the Queen and Prince Charles? That was a royal mess, and not in a good way. The poor nurse who fell for the prank ended up taking her own life a few days later. So, what's the lesson here? Prank calls can be funny, but they can also have serious consequences. It's important to think before you dial, and to remember that there's a real person on the other end of the line who deserves to be treated with respect. Or, you could just stick to prank calling your best friend and pretending to be their mom telling them to clean their room. That's always good for a laugh. So, prank calls, huh? Who doesn't love a good prank call? I mean, it's the perfect way to have some harmless fun and mess with your friends or family. But let's be real, prank calls are not just about having a laugh, they're also about the challenge of coming up with the perfect prank that will leave the other person scratching their head. Personally, I've had my fair share of prank call experiences. In fact, I remember one time when I was a teenager, my friends and I decided to prank call our local pizza place. We called and placed a fake order for a pizza with extra anchovies, double cheese, and oh, let's throw in some pickles while we're at it. I mean, who puts pickles on a pizza? The poor guy on the other end of the line was so confused, he probably thought he was being punked by Ashton Kutcher. But let's talk about some of the classic prank call scenarios. There's the classic "is your refrigerator running?" prank. I mean, come on, who falls for that one anymore? But then there's the more creative pranks, like the ones where you pretend to be a telemarketer and try to sell the person on some ridiculous product, like a hat made out of lettuce or a toothbrush that also doubles as a back scratcher. And let's not forget the celebrity prank calls. I mean, who didn't laugh when Bart Simpson prank called Moe's Tavern? Yeah, I'm looking for a guy named Hugh Jass. Classic. But here's the thing about prank calls, they're only funny if both parties are in on the joke. Otherwise, you're just being a jerk. So, if you're going to prank call someone, make sure it's with someone who has a good sense of humor and won't take it too seriously. And for the love of all that is holy, Don't prank call emergency services. That's just dangerous and stupid. So, in conclusion, prank calls can be hilarious, but they're not worth it if they're going to hurt someone's feelings or put them in danger. And if you're going to prank call someone, at least have the decency to come up with a good joke. I mean, if you're going to waste someone's time, you might as well make it worth their while, right?
And that wraps up another laughter-filled episode of Not So Funny A. If you enjoyed the jokes generated by our AI algorithms, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our comedy-loving community.